Hi, I'm Epokk, and this week I received a key for the hunt Showdown. Now, you know the game where you play as a hunter, collect clues while sneaking past monsters to find an even bigger monster or straight out of your nightmare, kill it, banish it, and extract with its bounty for a reward. And while you're doing this, other hunters are doing exactly the same or just letting you do the work to swoop in at the last minute and reap the rewards without the work. Now, the game came out in August 2019 and I kind of skipped the game because I was unsure if it was something for me, but now I got a chance to try it out, so let's just talk about how my very first run went and I'll point out the things that stuck out for me the most. Sound good? Let's go. So my very first run after going through a tutorial dropped me on a road in the middle of the forest. Now I was expecting to get matched with a second player, don't know what went wrong, but let's wing it either way. The first thing we need to do is to hunt for clues. Now these will basically slowly narrow down the spot where the monster will be at. Now in this specific bounty hunt we got two different targets, a giant spider and a barbed wire sprouting scarecrow. I'm pretty sure you can guess my least favorite target out of the two. Now using our special sixth sense, otherwise called dark sight, I know the closest clue is inside this weird looking factory. Now I'm sneaking inside because I don't know what's inside. Because in this game you constantly need to be on the lookout for players and monsters because none of them are friendly. Now I quickly find these huge headless brutes with a butcher knife and giant maggots for friends. I don't know who made these monsters up and I don't know if I'm a fan of them. Now I'm basically sneaking around them, avoiding a confrontation at any cost, picking off the maggots with my silenced revolver if needed. Now while going through these, I find myself walking through glass past crows and dogs. All of these things start making noise when I get really close to them, but in practice they only serve to alert fellow players to my whereabouts. While the undead really don't care about it, it's still really worthwhile avoiding it because once again I don't want to get hunted by fellow hunters. Now one maggot actually manages to surprise me and poison me. Just holding F cures me of the poison, but when this happens the other three maggots and the brutes start chasing me. Now all the other mobs don't care once again. Now the simplicity in the AI is starting to show itself. Unlike games like Left 4 Dead, one undead fighting you doesn't necessarily mean all enemies in range will start attacking you. Now either way, I ran outside of the factory, the brute quickly loses interest. I sneak back in, find a clue laying next to a monster I haven't seen before and I don't want to get to know. I collect the clue and I hightail it out of there like a bat out of hell. While I was running from the brute earlier, I heard gunfire in the distance. Curious about the PvP aspect of the game, I go towards it. But just for a second, can we just appreciate how beautiful this game looks and sounds? Now after a minute of walking to the forest, I find some other kind of coal mining related factory. At this point I hear one gun go off after the other one. Now I've got no clue if two players are fighting each other or something big. Now in the meantime I get a message that other players have already killed the spider. Good riddance, because I don't want to deal with the spiders, and meaning there are only 14 hunters in the game, at least 2 of them are already out of the game, which is really great for me. Now the gunfire originates from the largest building at the site, and even from the outside I hear something big moving around in there. Now I pop my head inside and see 2 hunters unloading on the last breeding target. Now first chance I get, I shoot one of the 2 hunters. Now to my surprise he goes down really quickly. Of course immediately his friend knows I'm around now and I don't intend to go inside with Scrabbeak, attacking everything in sight, using powers I haven't seen before. So I sneak around the building while the gunfire is quieting down inside. Now I'm basically checking out every window and finally find an angle at the last hunter through a window. One headshot later I find myself battling Scrapbeak all alone. Now he's throwing barbed wire all over the place, instantly starting a bleed effect once you touch one. Once again the simple AI is rearing its head really quickly. If you close a crappy wooden door, the huge walking nightmare as big as a truck can't come through it, giving you an ideal chance to kite it. Now at this point I've got no clue if my rifle is even hurting this thing. So let's just burn him with a Molotov. If it works for Freddy, it'll work for him. Once on fire, Scrapbeak is going insane. A good minute later I managed to kill him and I'm quite astounded I've gotten this far without any other hunters breathing down my neck. Now the really stressful part actually begins, because now I have to banish his body, which will give me the opportunity to collect his bounty token when it's over and make a run for it. But the banishment is quite nerve-wracking because during this phase the exact location of the boss, his corpse, is marked on everyone's map. So I actually know that there are 14 players in every match. Now -1 because I never got a partner, and then of course we already had 2 who died that I killed. We actually also have 2 that already left with a bounty token from the spider. So we actually have at least, well, 8 other players and me. So I don't know where those are. I don't know how many people are left. So I really want to cover as many doors as possible. I really, just sit in this little corner shivering, watching every door with my shotgun and hoping that someone doesn't come through it. And weirdly enough, it doesn't, which is kind of anticlimactic and made the entire banishing thing a little bit boring and nerve-wracking at the same time, which may seem weird, but it kind of was. So once the banishment was over, I picked up the token and I went through a back door, jumped in the water, and sneaked out of the sight, just in case another hunter was waiting for me outside. Now, of course, I find myself quite away from the nearest extraction point. I run towards it in a direct line, and now while I'm running, I'm hearing gunshots behind me. Someone is also heading towards the nearest extraction point. So I'm trying to maintain my head start while still staying in cover between trees and rocks. The monsters that aggro me, I try to fend off with my silenced revolver. Anything I can do to avoid disclosing my location, though some monsters aren't that easy. Now, once at the wagon, I wait about 30 seconds before I finally get the stress reducing message that I made it. Looking back at this run and the other ones I did after it, Hunt Showdown is a great looking game which can shine because of the PvP system. Now, while the monsters are cool but annoyingly dumb at times, it's the constant threat of enemy players that keeps your heart rate going. Each sound you hear may indicate incoming danger or offer an opportunity to dwindle the competition. Do I recommend Hunt Showdown? Only to specific players. I gotta be honest, this first run was a great one, but also a quite lucky one to be honest. The game is not made for casual players, in all honesty. The game is really difficult. You actually have to fend off the monsters while also dealing with the hunters. You constantly need to concentrate on the sounds that you hear, on any movement that you see. And even then, sometimes you just get shot from a ridiculous distance and you immediately die, losing the hunter that you have already spent tons of work in, that you actually have upgraded with all the weapons and stuff like that. If you actually had a really bad day at work or school and you just want to boot this game up, I don't think this is the kind of game that will help you relax. But on the other hand, I think it's one of the best Battle Royale games I've played in a good while. Maybe ever, to be honest. But either way, let me know your thoughts about Hunt Showdown in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.